Hi everyone, my name is Rajita. I'm lecturer in commerce and working at Government Degree College, Mortad. The topic is relationship between banker and customer. So there are two types of major relationships, that is general relationship and special relationship. In general relationship, again we have two different types of relationships. First one is relationship as a debtor and creditor. So the banker and customer will share the relationship of debtor and creditor. When the customer is opening an account into bank, and if he is deposited cash into his account, then the customer is the debtor and banker is creditor. So next in situations, if the customer taking loan from bank, then the banker become debtor to customer, and customer becomes the creditor to bank. Next relationship is as banker as trustee. So sometimes banker acts as trustee for the customer accounts, customer uh, for his accounts and for his assets. If the customer took loan from the bank, if he is depositing some of his asset documents as security purpose, the banker has to be very careful with the documents. So in that situation, the banker acts as a trustee for the customer assets, and he is also trustee for the account, for the amount deposited into savings account of the customer. And there is another relationship, banker as an agent. So uh, as we discussed in earlier topics, banks acts as an agent on behalf of the customer. If the customer asks the bank to manage his bills, to manage his drafts, to do trading, to receive, to collecting the checks, to if the customer asked the bank to pay some of his debts to another persons. So these things are all done by the banker in the relationship of as agent. So these are the relationships which are shared by the banker and customer in general relationships. There is another relationship, that is special relationship. In special relationship, there are two types of majorly two types of relationships. One is obligation to honor the checks. So whenever the customer is issuing checks, until unless the balance is not available in the customer account, the bank cannot dishonor the customer's checks. If the customer doesn't have balance in the account, still the customer doesn't know the information, still if he issued any check, then the bank can dishonor the check. But in any other cases, until unless the balance is available in the account, the bank has to honor the checks. If the bank is not honoring the check, it is illegally liable. And the next relationship is obligation to maintain secrecy of the customer. So the bank has to maintain the secrecy of customer accounts, details, information, balances, about everything, because in the bank regulation act, there is a obligation that the banker should keep the customer details safely, because there are if the bank is disclosing the customer details to another person, there is a threat of losing balances, losing the assets. There will be there is a chance of criminal thing. So the bank has to keep the details of customer as secret. But in some circumstances, the bank can reveal the customer information. Those can be like when the detail asked by court, so then the bank has to reveal the details of the customer. And when the customer becomes insolvency, at the time also bank has to disclose the information to out. Next is KYC norms. KYC norms means know your customer. So this concept was introduced by worldwide to eliminate the problem of money laundering and other financial crimes committed by the people. So this is the policy which analyze the customer completely, from the name to from his place of living, place of working, everything is analyzed by the bankers. So in India, the KYC policy, as per guidelines issued on 2004 November 29, all the banks are required to formulate a KYC policy with the approval of a respective board. So because of every bank has board of directors, so by taking opinions, by discussing with them, so every bank has to prepare the consumer norms. Consumer norms, I mean that means KYC norms, to know the customer better, to avoid to restrict the financial crimes and money laundering things. So here in India, the KYC policy consists of the 4 key elements. From that, one is customer acceptance policy. So it refers to the general guidelines followed by bank. So general guideline means they will be taking the information of the customer. So they will be asking the name, their first name, their last name, their date of birth, their gender, the general details which are asked by the bank. So when these are allowing when the customer trying to open account with the bank. So these guidelines stipulates that no account shall be opened in anonymous or fictitious name. So what it stipulates, it will restrict that any fictitious name, any duplicate name is not allowed to open an account, because in fictitious names or accounts, so if we go into the investigation, there will be a lot of financial crimes committed already. So to avoid those kind of things, the bank must has give the rules and regulations that the name should not be fictitious or duplicate when they are opening account with the bank. So if the bank will find those kind of things, then the bank can refuse to open account for that customer in their bank. So or if anything matches later with the customer names, like criminal activities or something else, financial crimes are found in the name of the customer, then the bank has to stop the transactions of the customer's account. And there is another key element, that is customer identification procedure. So the bank must identify the customer, because when he is approaching to open an account, by knowing general information, the person should be identified whether he is living or not, and the details of the person should be verified with the reliable independent documents, data and information. So those things are must be reliable. So we are having some reliable identification documents in India. Those are passport, PAN card, voter identity card, driving license, and a letter from organized public authority. With this, the bank can identify the customer completely. So if the bank has not able to, the bank is not able to identify the customer by observing these reliable documents, that means the customer is not existed, or they are trying to manipulate the bank. And the other key point is monitoring of transactions. So every transaction made by the customer, those are those are monitored by the bank. Different types of done by the customer through online, through banking, through RTGS. So these are all monitored by the bank. So with this, the bank can eliminate the money laundering and with further financial crimes which can be committed by the customer. And the other key element is risk management. So KYC procedures are a critical function to access customer list and legal requirement to comply with anti-money laundering laws. So by adopting a risk-based approach, competent authorities and financial institutions are able to ensure that the measures to prevent or mitigate money laundering and financial threats are commensurate to the risk identifies. So this allows resources to allocated in the most efficient ways. So these are the 4 key elements in the KYC norms policy. Role of RBI in exchange rate is the next topic. So RBI is responsible for administration of the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999 and regulates the market by issuing license to bank and other selected institutions to act as authorized dealer in foreign exchange. So each and everything which is related to foreign exchange or exchange rate or monitored and made by RBI. So in that relation, so RBI is regulating transaction related to the external sector and following the development of the foreign exchange market and exercising smooth conduct and orderly conditions in the domestic foreign exchange. So RBI is also trying to conduct a smooth and orderly conditions in the domestic market without any kind of conflicts and without any kind of disputes in the exchange market, and managing the foreign currency assets and gold reserves for the country. So RBI will also keep the assets and gold reserves for the foreign exchange purposes. If in uncertain situations, the RBI will use these assets and gold to overcome the problems which are generating and going to generate in the foreign exchange. Types of customers in bank. So there are different types of customers who open account in bank. So let's see. First, minor. Minor is a person who is under the age of 18. So according to Indian law, the minor can open an account by appointing an guardian on behalf of him. So if the minor is appointing a guardian, he will be minor up to 21 years. So the minor can also open account in the bank when he has a guardian. Next, married women. Married women can also enter into a valid contract. She can also open an account with the bank, and she can take loans, and she is only liable for paying loans. Her husband is not liable for loans which is taken by married women unless husband's consent is there in the loan. And the third is illiterate person. So generally illiterate person cannot sign, so the signature is the important thing in opening an account. So by making a thumb impression, he can enter into a contract, but the thumb impression should be attested by the person whom he knows from the in the bank. And the next, lunatics and persons of unsound mind are not capable of entering into valid contract. So the bank should also not open in the name of persons who are unsound minded. So if an account holder becomes unsound mind after opening an account, the bank should immediately stop the person making transactions. And a trustee is a person on whom confidence is rested. So trustee is a person who is taking care of the assets. Trustee is a person who is taking care of the assets of the person who is appointed for the purpose. So trusts are formed by trust deed. The banker should scrutinize the trust deed. The next type of customers in bank is executors and administrators. So executors are persons appointed by will of a person to administer his estate after his death. The power and authority of an executor is resultant from the will. So this person is appointed by the person who is having a will. So he will be mentioning name in his will to act as executive after his death. And the administrator. So administrator is appointed by the law when there is no any executor appointed by the dead person. So and the court will appoint a person to manage estate of a deceased person or died person. So the administrator is appointed by the court through a letter of administration. Next type of customer is a joint account holder. So not only individuals can open an account, joint account can also be opened by more than one persons together. So here they must clear some aspects to the bank when they are opening an account, clear stated who may operate the account and who is going to sign on the checks, and there should be mentioned each and every person related to joint account, and their addresses and their details should be mentioned in the application form when they are opening an account. And the next, proprietorships. So a proprietorship is a small enterprises which is run by an individual. So if he opening an account with the bank, so this is called as proprietorships. So this is also one of the types of customers who are opening accounts with the bank. And Hindu undivided family, this is the oldest business type which is carried by Indians. So here the elder of the family will be the head of the company which is run by the family. So the account will be opened in the name of the family business. The karta is permitted to make transactions for the company for the welfare of a family. Partnership. So, a partnership firm can also open an account in the bank with the name of the partnership firm, and they should mention the details of partners, names and addresses of the partners, nature of the business which they are going to undertake, and name of the partner who is operate the account. And partnership account should be in the name of the firm but not in the names of the partners. And the last type of customer is limited companies. So limited companies should open an account in the name of the company. The company should mention the name of representative from the company for the transactions. So these are the different types of customers who can open account in the bank and do transactions.